So if you had told me a couple of years ago that I would willingly be going to see a Barbie movie, or if you had told the youthful me that I would be willingly, no, if you have ever told me that I would willingly be going to see a Barbie movie, I would say you're an insane person. But in an effort to, provide my own opinions on new releases and have content for the show and the YouTube channel, just got out of Barbie. It is, as I speak, I think it's been out for like a day now. And Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, who's done a lot of art house stuff, and starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Reynolds and Simu Liu and Will Ferrell and Rhea Perlman and Kate McKinnon and just a tremendous number of familiar faces. And when it was announced and I heard about it, I'm like, Barbie movie. And then when I tried to not see much about this because I knew I was going to see it because it's a much buzzed about film. And I saw a little bit of an ad and I'm like, oh wait, this looks maybe a little sharper than it would at a distance. And a side note, I'm sitting in a car on a hot summer day with the AC off so that it's not ruining the exquisite sound of this clip. So I will probably be getting more delirious and sweaty as this goes. So I apologize in advance for that. So I went to see Barbie. And boy, I didn't like Barbie. And I know there'll be a lot of comments that will probably be attacking me for my opinions on this, but I'll rein them in to a degree. But this is not the movie a lot of people think they're going to see. A lot of mothers who are bringing their daughters, a lot of people who loved Barbie growing up, you're not getting the movie you think you're going to see. What you are getting, and I don't mean this in a negative way, negative in terms of what I thought entertainment value wise, not in terms of ideologically, you're getting a feminist manifesto masquerading as a Barbie movie. I'm not going to say too much about the plot, but it sort of does what the Brady Bunch movie did, which I also did not like. Okay, so I grew up in an era where you had perfect things. You had perfect families on TV, and you had toys that represented an ideal of somebody's ideal. They represented something to strive for. And I never fell into the mentality of hating that stuff because that wasn't what I was, or it wasn't the world that I lived in. I didn't hate the Brady Bunch because I didn't live in a perfect family with a beautiful big house. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a window into a cool world, and it was something to maybe aspire to strive to achieve someday. Not being a female, I can't speak toward the Barbie thing, but I know in more recent decades, there's been a lot of backlash against Barbie, that she sets up an unrealistic ideal and all that stuff. So this movie basically jumps in with both feet and a pinched nose into the idea that Barbie is terrible. And Barbie is happy in the world she lives in, but she doesn't know that she should be miserable in that world. And this movie, in no uncertain terms, literally tells her why she should be miserable in the perfect world that she has. And I will say, excellent performances. Margot Robbie's amazing. She is like the Grace Kelly of this generation. She is somebody who looks incredible, but don't let that fool you into that. That's all she is. She's a producer. She's an incredible actress. She does a lot of stuff with really good depth to it, and she's amazing. Everybody in this movie is really good. Visually, it's unbelievable. Visually, I think Oscar nominations are on board or are deserved for this movie. I think the visuals are amazing. The production, the set design is amazing. The costumes are amazing. Just how it's executed is amazing. The acting is really, really good. I think most people are going for a light comedy, and they're not ready to basically be lectured for 2 hours. And it felt every minute of those 2 hours. And I did wonder when it started. It starts off very peppy and very, isn't Barbie world great? And isn't Barbie and all the different Barbies great? And I was like, wow, how are they going to sustain this for a feature? Because there's not a lot to this. And what they do is, again, I don't want to get into the plot of this because I didn't know. And I don't know that the advertising, maybe by now, the advertising has given away what the twist for the film is. But it is, let's just say it's very similar to the Brady Bunch movie. This is essentially a movie that craps all over Barbie. And not that I have any attachment to Barbie whatsoever. I think of Barbie as a toy that generations of girls played with and brought them joy. And I always have a bit of a beef when any modern filmmaker or entity adapts an old property and basically just trashes it. The Starsky and Hutch movie I thought was terrible because they took a show that a lot of people liked and thought was cool and said, yeah, these guys are idiots. The Brady Bunch movie, a lot of people love that show and really love those characters. Let's make a movie where we say, they're all idiots. And that's like an ongoing thing. And that's what this Barbie movie does. Now, maybe if you hate Barbie, if you agree that Barbie was detrimental to our society, then this is absolutely the movie for you, because this movie is not subtle in spelling that out at length. And again, very interesting visually. There's some kind of funny stuff in it. I didn't find it terribly funny because so much of it was heavy-handed sermonizing, basically. You've got Michael Cera in it as the Alan character. I never really found him funny. Will Ferrell, who I do not find funny, and he just has to show up and people start laughing. I don't get it. It's just, I cannot believe Mattel okayed this film because it trashes Mattel hard and uses their logo. This is the kind of thing that I would have less of a beef with if it was called Betty or Barbie, and it was clearly a spoof and an attack on Barbie, but using the actual character and the product line and the logo and the Mattel logo, that's pretty bold. It's kind of amazing. It's easily one of the most subversive films I've seen come out of a major studio that's an intellectual property probably ever. One of the most, I hate to say this because it makes me sound like the kind of person that I'm not. Speaking as a dude in the audience, one of the few dudes in the audience, I was going in, I'm just like, am I going to look like the weird creeper who's like sitting here amongst a bunch of tweens in pink watching the Barbie movie? But that happens when I review kid films, and I try to go and see just about everything because I like movies, and a lot of times my expectations are thwarted and I wind up liking something more than I thought I would. But this is one of the most anti-male movies I've seen in a long time. Every male character in this film is an idiot or a villain, and or idiot or an a-hole, basically. Let's just put it that way. And I feel like it's kind of hack screenwriting. There's a lot of films that are pro-female films that want to have a strong female protagonist, and what they do is they make all the males idiots or terrible. And then to me, that's just a cheat. Like, there's no need for that. And it's not me being a defensive dude. And again, people are gonna think I'm a terrible person and all that, but I'm just telling you what I thought. I went into a Barbie movie not looking forward to it, thinking it was going to be kind of silly and dumb, but maybe with a cool visual style. And it's not dumb. It's not dumb at all. It's just, I really am curious to see how this movie is going to do, like in week 2. I think edgy people, I think it's really more of an art house movie with a huge budget and a studio behind it and a toy company. I think alternative people, edgy people, indie people, cynical people will really love this. I think maybe kids and general audiences will like it just for what the surface is, but there's so much sermonizing in this film, like it gets tiresome after a while. Like, and it is not subtle by any means. Very well made. It's so weird to say this. It's like very well made, visually gorgeous, really kind of sharp here and there, but so much of a one-track political statement. Not even saying I necessarily disagree with a lot of what it has to say, but it's just like, it wasn't fun to me. It was kind of very smug and sour and grim and cynical and like making fun of anybody who might be good looking or happy as, empty-headed idiots. And I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment and tell me honestly what you thought of this movie, because I may be like, a lot of times I'm the only person who doesn't like something when everybody else loves it. So I'd be very curious. Like, I wanted to turn to the people on either side of me and say, without any bias, what did you think of that movie? But then I'm just like, I'm the dude who's older than everybody by a couple decades here, and I don't want to like leave the place in handcuffs. But it's like, I kind of wanted to do an exit poll. I was trying to listen to hear what people were saying, and I think I kind of heard a couple of women or girls say, "Boy, that isn't quite what I expected it was going to be." So anyway, in theaters now, one of the 2 big options this weekend. Very, very curious to see how this does in subsequent weeks, and what the legacy of this film winds up being. Is Barbie.